What are we doing? So much stuff to talk about. We're getting ready to go live. We're
All
going live.
right.
I didn't even do my video of the day yet. Attorney brains. What is it? Are you? Oh, attorneys born?
Most, yes. I, of course, am not, but most are.
Were
Yes.
you born or were you turned?
Yeah. It's very difficult sometimes to be in a room full of lawyers. I get it.
All right, let's get this thing rocking and rolling. Jessica, tell me a little bit about the weather up there so I can get all my viewers coming in.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So in New York, I'm in the Hudson Valley. Oh my God, it's beautiful. I'm about an hour and a half north of New York City, and it's crazy. Yesterday, we had like an ice storm, and then it was like 50 degrees. Today, it's like sunny outside, cold, but you know,
Oh,
beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So the
oh,
weather is crazy. It snows like 1 minute and then it's sunny and warm. I yesterday I had no jacket on. So it's
what?
crazy. Yeah, it was 54 degrees out.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
It is
So it
nice.
was but it's all good. I feel it. Spring is coming.
It's coming early this year.
Yeah.
So
How about by you? Is it sunny and like 80?
it was 75 last week, but
Oh,
we're back to 40s. So,
okay.
all right, class, thank you for allowing me to serve you in my quest to raise your financial literacy. Have the wonderful opportunity to hang out with Jessica Segal.
Hello there. Happy Friday.
Yeah, Jessica is an attorney in New York, and she is willing and dealing, doing some amazing things up there. And today, we're going to matter of fact, give us your background a little bit real quick, Jessica, so people don't may not know who you are.
Okay, so I've been practicing for about 19 years. And I started out in law enforcement, actually. My background is actually as a prosecutor. And now I do all kinds of civil litigation and estate planning. And I really got into real estate investment as a way to plan for my retirement. When you work for the government, you don't make much money. So I knew I had to come up with another plan for retirement. So I would scrape and save and got into private money and I'm building my retirement plan that way.
Right.
So I love it. I'm having a great time every day. Something different. I meet interesting people. And I have to say, I'm living proof that you're never too old to just completely switch gears. I mean, my career is so different than what I ever thought it would be. I'm basically just starting over, starting my own business, and I love it.
No, you didn't mention that. What you said you were working, but you didn't say what happened recently. I mean, I know that, but viewers that don't know what you just did.
Oh yeah, I decided to quit my very high paying job as a civil litigation attorney and open my own law firm. And it's terrifying to do that because I don't have that steady paycheck every Friday. But I realized that that makes you hustle, right? Because if I want to eat, I got to go hunting. So,
That's
yeah, so it's been great. And I meet so many interesting people. I love it. It's
nice.
all good.
Thank you. Thank you for sacrificing your time to be here with us today, class.
Absolutely.
Today we're going to talk about. I'm going to hit Jessica with some questions and her attorney brain. Being a litigator, I can't believe I would love to see you in action in court.
Oh, yeah. I love being in the courtroom. It's my home. My nickname was the Reverend. I love telling stories to people. You really bring the jury in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, do you have a few seconds just to tell our viewers about what you did special this week? For the
Uh,
first time. For the first time you're
oh,
doing
I was a referee at a foreclosure sale. So one of the things I signed up for to make some extra money was attorneys can get on a list basically in the county to be the attorney who sells it, the foreclosure sales at the courthouse. So I got to look at it from that perspective instead of trying to buy it. I was selling it
Wow.
and I had to read the terms of sale like an auctioneer at all fast and quick. And there was a sea of sharks out there trying to get the deal. They're all yelling at each other.
Wow.
They were messing with me a little bit, all in good humor. Um, And then the bank ended up buying it back because the bank wanted too much money for it, which is surprising. Yeah. So it was a great experience. I'm going to write about that in an article one of these months.
That is so cool. So Jessica Class is one of the Roundup newsletter editors, and you literally hosted a foreclosure. I'm like, you're looking at it from a totally different vantage point.
Yep.
Cool. Now, when you out there, like, usually they're like,
yes. That was it. Totally. Nobody's listening to me. Nobody cares. It was like, how fast can I possibly read this? Yeah. Yep. I know.
I love it. All right. Class, today we're talking about buying houses subject to the existing finances. Buying houses subject to the existing finances. What does that mean? I'm glad you asked. It means we are going to buy the property, keeping the current homeowner's loan in place. All we're going to do is keep making the loan payments. And I would like Jessica to kind of break it down for all of you to think, oh Lord, am I breaking the law? Is the subject to police going to come after me after we do this deal?
It is very legal. I have to say, when you first told me about it, I thought, this is crazy. What seller would agree to give you the deed to their home, but keep the mortgage responsibility? Like, why on earth would somebody do that? And then you really take a step back and you figure out that they're avoiding foreclosure on their credit history that way. They're avoiding the hassle of having to try and sell the house. And it's based upon the trust that you're going to do what you say you're going to do. You're going to give them some money to move or whatever the case may be. And they've got somebody paying the mortgage. And so they don't have that debt on their credit history. So I began to understand why somebody would do it. Somebody desperate to get out of that situation. Maybe they've moved, maybe they just have no money. A foreclosure on your credit history is devastating, and it affects your ability to get credit for really the rest of your life. So I do understand why somebody would agree to do it. And it is totally legal. The risk is this. The bank may come in and say, I don't like it and I want my money. But it's certainly not criminal, or there's certainly no reason you can't do it. The mortgage papers typically say you can't assign the mortgage, you can't sell it to somebody else without our permission. So the remedy for them, if you do it, is they're going to foreclose on you. They're going to want somebody to pay off that loan. But the big picture, why would they do it? As long as the mortgage is getting paid, they don't care.
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah. So it's a fantastic tool because everybody wins. Buyer gets a great deal. Seller gets out from this horrible financial situation.
So, as this is this kind of, did you hear about this before, or are you just hearing about this when we were starting to interface?
I only heard it from you. I've heard of lease with an option to buy. I've heard of some other things, but I've never heard the subject to. I didn't even know people did that around here.
Wow.
Because again, as an attorney, I'll say this, as an attorney, I'm in this very, conservative world. You have buy and sell contracts with attorneys, or you get foreclosed on. There is no creative gray area. And then I started hanging out more with investors, and then it was like just the typical fix and flip, or a wholesaling. So I've learned about those things, but in my face-to-face interaction, I haven't met anybody doing the subject to. I didn't even believe you. You had to send me like Craigslist ads in my town, remember? I'm like, nobody's doing that. And then you sent me Craigslist ads for people doing it in my town. I almost fell off my chair. And now I want in. I'm on the hunt to find somebody willing to do that.
Nice. Okay. Class, I forgot to ask you to smash the thumbs up button, and we're going to be doing some Q&A after Jessica and I go over the framework for this broadcast today. Tell me about your mind as you're going down doing your attorney brain stuff that you do, buying, dealing with all the litigation that you no doubt have seen over your life. Yeah. And then you're exposed to subject to. Tell me about your first reaction.
So again, my first reaction was sort of like, this has to be a scam. Like somebody's getting taken advantage of. Some slick guy is coming in to take advantage of someone who's elderly or a widow or, poor, and somebody smarter is coming in to take advantage of this.
Gotcha.
And my initial reaction was, I want no part of this. I hold myself out, very ethical, and especially as an attorney, nothing is worth risking my law license to make a few bucks. Like that just never will enter into my mind. But then it's like anything else. Once you get educated, once somebody takes the time to actually explain to you how it works, once I looked at the documents being used, it's like the light bulb goes off. And and again, it's sort of this blending of just being creative and providing a solution, right? Because real estate investing is really what I learned is just about providing solutions to people. And I think the biggest change for me was when I stopped and said, who am I to judge whether or not it's a good deal for that seller? Who am I to prejudge that somebody wouldn't want to do this? That's me putting my conservative views on an entire method of real estate investing.
Wow.
And then I stopped and said, okay, let me turn it around. And I realized, like, no, this works for them. This is actually helping them. You're actually doing them a service.
Wow.
And it's actually almost generous in a way to do it, right?
Yes.
And yes, of course you're profiting. And of course that's the free economy. You're making your money on it because you're a smart business person. You've come up with this creative solution. And at the end of the day, if the purchaser doesn't pay the mortgage, they're going to lose the property. So they're going to lose that money coming in every month. So that's the incentive to get it paid.
Wow, that is so cool. You know what's weird? The posture, what you just said about is actually generous. I'm really doing the seller a favor, taking over this burden.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think once that your brain kind of turns, and then you gotta accept the fact that it's okay.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. It's all about how you view things.
So as we're moving forward, Jessica, where are you regarding recommending this stuff? Or because obviously I know you're all about liability and disclosure.
Yeah. So I mean, from my perspective, the buyer has no liability. You're basically getting the property without the burden of the note on your credit history. Okay. But that being said, coming back now to my lawyer liability worry brain, make sure you have really good insurance on that property. Because at the end of the day, if you are the deed holder, they're coming after you, not the mortgage, not whose name is on the mortgage. They're coming after who owns the property. So make sure, especially if somebody's in the position to do the subject to deal, they probably haven't been maintaining their home very well. It's probably in need of repair. Maybe there are some code violations on it or things that they couldn't keep up with. So you want to make sure that you have at least $1 million umbrella or really good, coverage, because at the end of the day, you want to protect yourself. If somebody gets hurt, it's all coming back to you.
That's what I was going to ask you. You said they won't come after the loan, the person that on the loan, they will come after the person.
Meaning whoever is injured, right? So I'll give you an example. I did a trial where landlord purchases a tax sale, these really rundown properties. There's no certificate of occupancy, all kinds of code violations on the deck, all kinds of fire hazard violations. He buys it at the tax sale, doesn't fix it, doesn't do anything, puts illegal immigrants in there paying cash. Okay, the deck collapses, somebody goes to visit, deck collapses. They have horrific injuries. Landlord has no insurance. So we go after the landlord personally. He owns 4 homes. All 4 of those homes are now in the pool that I can take if I'm successful. We did the trial for 4 days and the jury came down with a record $1.1 million verdict. So we're going to force a sale of all of his property. Right. And even still selling all of that, it still won't be enough to make the victim whole.
Yeah.
Now, if he had insurance, The insurance company would have paid for his attorney. He had to pay for his own attorney. Insurance company would have paid for his attorney, would have paid for the medical bills, and he would still have all 4 of his properties.
Wow.
So I always circle back to protect yourself and your assets no matter what. Like, if you're doing this as a business, don't skimp on insurance.
Yeah, you're the reason I got my umbrella policy. I just can't thank you enough.
Yeah. It's just so you have to chalk it up as a cost of business. It's tax deductible. There's just no reason not to do it. If you can't, I'll say this: if you can't afford an insurance policy, don't buy a rental property.
That's a good point. That's a good point. So I heard you say something about the buyer having no liability for the loan. In your opinion,
yeah,
is that okay? I mean, I don't like it when people think I'm out here taking advantage of anybody.
Right. So yes, it's okay because the seller is the one who entered into that written agreement with the mortgager. So the seller is the one who's actually committing the breach of that contract, not the buyer. Okay, that's on the seller. He's the one that's violating the terms of his agreement. And so if the bank finds out, they can go after the seller to recall that note or do what they want to do. The buyer is at risk. Keep this in mind, though, that if the bank decides to foreclose on that note is still tied to the property, right? So they could still come and take the property from you. But as you've explained to me, if you're only putting down $1,000 to make the move, and the property gets taken, you don't care. You move on to the next one. It's no risk for you. Realistically, what'll happen is the bank will turn to you, deed owner, and say, all right, let's renegotiate this mortgage.
Especially if you're making the payments.
Yeah, exactly. They don't want to deal with the cost of paying attorneys to deal with a foreclosure if you're making the payments. The only issue that comes up is if mortgage rates are much higher.
That's where I was going.
Yeah, if mortgage rates are much higher, then it's worth it to them.
Well, Jessica, I remember you. I remember it distinctly when you told me that, and I felt like you had been listening to some blogs or you've been doing some research about these loans being called.
Yes.
I think that's, I think our industry has textbook stuff, and I think they got real world stuff,
Yes.
In my opinion, I want to ask you, a lot of people are writing about this interest rate moving or whatever, and banks being more scrutinizing their loans. Where are you thinking this is going,
I mean, I'll say this. I have never, ever heard of somebody I've never heard a real example of the bank coming in and recalling the note because the mortgage is being paid and they just don't care. But again, I'm so conservative. And look, I'm going to give you a real world example. When I worked for a law firm and I had a steady paycheck, I'm on top of the world. I can get a mortgage anywhere. Now I'm working for myself. If that bank calls in the mortgage and I need to refinance, I don't have proof of how much money I'm making anymore. I don't have that steady paycheck behind me. So the bank is going to say, you're not creditworthy. Even though we both know I have tenants, I have leases, I have tons of money in the bank, whatever the case is, they care. So for me, the risk that they recall it while I'm working for myself now is too big of a risk for me.
I see.
For somebody else, they may not care. They may say, I'll deal with it when it comes up and go for it, right? Because everybody has different risk tolerance.
Gotcha.
And the truth is, I could turn around and say, you know what? If I really need to, I'll get private money. I'll pay 10%, whatever, but it'll fix the problem. And then eventually I'll refinance it. There's always a solution. But my mortgage rate is really good right now on my 2-family. So if I do anything to put that at risk, I'm only hurting myself.
That's you talking about if you were to sell it on subject to.
Yeah, or if I was to do something, or just transfer it, if I transfer it into a different trust name or a different LLC name, or if I do anything with it.
But I was under the premise, Jessica, that if you were to transfer it, the universe will allow you to transfer it back into your name.
Yeah, I suppose. I suppose the bank would allow me to do that.
I'm
Yeah.
saying they give the only time that I've seen a loan call, the bank actually gave the borrower time to get the seller's name back on the deed. It wasn't like it was
Yeah, I can see
unreversed.
that. I
You know?
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I'll say this. I don't, for the average person, nobody seems to be worried about it. They almost
Nobody
seem
even
to
cares.
like, right? Nobody cares. And that's okay. Me personally, I'm not comfortable with it because I'm risk averse. Okay. That being said, uh, you know, I don't,
Go
like I
for it.
said, I don't know anybody that actually had a problem with it.
Well, that's why we pay you to be an attorney, and you have to worry about all the things. The end of the world will end tomorrow.
Yeah.
And
I
all
guess
that.
from my perspective, I don't want any viewer to ever come back and say, oh, I did this and nobody told me and that was a risk, right? So I always say it like, look, these are the risks. You're aware of them. Do whatever you feel is comfortable for you and your risk level
Yeah,
tolerance, you know?
nice.
Yeah. I know a lot of attorneys who basically say, you know, tell their clients, they'll never catch up with you. Just take a shot, you know? I just can't, I can't say that. I always say, this is the risk. You do what you want.
Well, the thing is, for that's once again why we kind of gel together. I could care less whether I mean I make on all my subject twos, and I don't know. I mean, I can't even count. You know how many that I've sold to people and been a part of and helped put them together. Not once has it
Mm-hmm.
come up. Not one time. But usually, the attorneys, they'll people that don't know are just they're just so in shock that
Yep. I
seller
know,
would
right?
do this. You know.
And how many years have you been doing it? Over 10, right?
Yes.
And see, so I mean, come on, you know, especially right now, the rates are low anyway. There, you know, it wouldn't even financially pay for them to do it.
Yeah. Gotcha.
You know, it was more of an issue when rates went up to like 14%. So if you had a mortgage that was 3.5%, the bank was like, hey, we want more money. And
I
so they
see.
were willing to do it. But now, even if you're within a point of the average mortgage rate, it's like they're throwing money out the window.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm so glad we have you on board to bless the subject to strategy because, in my opinion, it's the best way to buy a house. My favorite way to buy a house is buying a second.
Absolutely. Listen, as a new investor, the hardest part is finding funding, right? So if you find this deal and you don't have to deal with the funding, it's brilliant. I'm angry I didn't know about it sooner. I can't wait. I can't wait to try and find a deal like this.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
So, as we're getting into now, are you going to be helping people close this stuff? Or how do you? I know you want to implement it personally, but are you going to be some of
Yes.
the?
Yeah. So actually one of your viewers contacted me that lives right in my area in New York. We talked about it. He's looking for his deal and I'm going to help him do the closing when he finds it.
So you
Yeah.
can
So
explain.
and yeah, so anybody in New York, really, I can certainly help with it.
So you can be the attorney brain for the buyer and the seller on the transaction
Yes.
in
Mm-hmm.
New York.
Yes.
Nice. All right, class. You hear that, class? She's right there. She's right there. I don't know how many people I know around the country. They're like, I just can't find an attorney to do this thing for me.
Yeah. Well, it's like what I said to you, like, it's almost like people just say, no, this doesn't sound right. So they say no. They don't take the time to actually research it, learn. It's like just because you've never done it doesn't mean it can't be done.
Nice.
And it's really, I had this real estate investor years ago tell me that he came from Florida. They did land trusts in Florida, and not one lawyer in New York will do them. I know you can do them. And
Wow.
at the time, I'm like, well, I don't know. My boss is telling me you can't do them. So we don't have the land trust statute in New York. Sorry. And it,
Rewind. I want to stay here for a minute. Is this something
yeah,
that back when you were at your previous employer?
yes.
Tell me about that. You never mentioned that to me.
Because I never made the connection until right now. So working in my law firm, I had a local real estate agent, and he's a very successful real estate investor too. He called me up and he said, listen, I came from Florida. We did land trusts in Florida. I want to start doing them here in New York. But every lawyer I call says I can't do them in New York. I'm like, okay, well, I've never even heard of a land trust. So hold on, I'll talk to my boss.
Wow.
My boss is very experienced attorney, says, no, we don't do land trusts in New York. That's only done in Florida. And he's admitted in Florida, so he knows about them. That was the end of the conversation. Never even thought, okay, how can we still accomplish his goal? And so I talked to him about the LLC, which is a tool, I love in New York. Fast forward now, wow. I realized, well, we could have done a trust, but we didn't think outside the box in terms of what his ultimate goal was. Right. And so now I know, and I want to call him next week and be like, guess what I just figured out? Let's do it. Yeah.
This is so cool. So now you are intertwining the trust and the LLC for our viewers, Jessica.
Yes. So the LLC gives you the liability protection and shields your personal assets. The trust keeps the owner's secret. So I like to layer them together and do both.
Nice.
And if you watch a lot of the YouTube videos that you recommended and that you can just find out there, they will tell you that layering them together really is the safest way to do it. You've got your insurance, your LLC, your trust, the three together, you are bulletproof.
Mm-hmm. Nice. I love it. I'm so glad that this is coming together. When a plan comes together, it just makes you feel good.
So exciting.
All right, so let's get to some Q&A. I know we only have you for a few more minutes, Jessica. Before we do that,
let's go for it.
Yeah, get your questions in the corner here. If you need any of these documents, class, email me, or I'll put a link in the description of the video. You can get my subject to documents. I do have a small fee because I do all this for free. But Jessica, so you're saying that subject to is not the bank doesn't have a police officer that's going to show up at my door and ask me to pay the loan off the next day?
Nope.
They won't take me to jail and say, you are in jail, Kris Haskins, because you did a subject to.
Nope.
They won't come and say,
the buyer is not the one who should be concerned.
They won't charge me with a felony subject to transaction.
No, you're good.
But I'm telling you, people think that you're out here just breaking laws.
Well, listen, I got to tell you, of course, the lawyer in me, this is the part where I have to say that I'm only licensed in the state of New York. So my answers are relevant in the state of New York. That's my little disclaimer. I don't know what every state would say, but at the end of the day, the buyer, the buyer isn't committing a crime. He's engaging in a business contract with somebody willing to enter into a contract. It's all it is. It's a business contract between the buyer and the seller. Nice. If anybody is at risk for potential criminal charges, it would maybe the seller if there's some sort of fraud going on, know. But
nice. All right. I can hear you.
Of course, you don't want to both be reporting interest income on tax returns, things like that. It has to be very clear who's getting the benefit on their tax returns for this deal, things like that.
Now, I would tell you that on matter of fact, I'm working on a video series. I was audited. The IRS audited me, and I can speak from experience that you can take that interest from the seller's social security number and apply it to your interest deductions on your tax returns. And repeat that, guys. I am telling you from living experience. I sat down in the federal building with the auditor. We went over all my interest payments. I showed them. What is it, a 1098? Is that the mortgage 1098?
I don't know.
The 1098 from the mortgage company that says you paid X amount of interest.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, I know the form. I don't know the number.
Yeah, the form. So it was in the seller's name, obviously, because it's not in mine.
Right.
I showed them my deed because I had to prove that I owned the house, and I showed them the interest, and they allowed it.
Yes. Now, did you have to show them the subject to document or just the deed and the...
What?
Did they want to see your subject to agreement or just the fact that you had the deed?
No, the IRS's main concern was they want to know, Chris, do you own this house? Basically,
Okay.
because the
Great.
owner, huh?
That's great.
The owner writes off interest. The owner
Yes.
writes off interest, but you know your boy got all type of trust and LLCs layered up to the hill, right? So I'm
Yeah.
walking in like I'm thinking I'm shooting myself, right? Because I got all this, not asset protection, yeah, estate planning. You know, we don't use asset protection, estate planning. I
Yeah.
show them my trust because they looking on the title. They're looking. They're like, well, trust owns this. Who are you? You know, what do
Yeah.
you do with it? So, we had to back out of it, but I'm just telling you that you can do that.
Wow. You've survived an IRS audit.
What? My
That
second two?
Why do you keep getting flagged?
I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
This is my
That's
second
funny.
one. And
That's a video series right there. Audited
I,
and live to tell the tale.
I'm gonna do that, but I got a packet in the mail that thing
Yeah.
that I did. And I can't wait to share with my Browned Up family all the questions that they asked me. They
Okay.
want to make sure that when you have these trusts, you better be able to prove that you own them.
That's fantastic information.
Yeah. Let's do some Q&A, Miss Jessica. Thank you, class. Nelson, everybody's saying congratulations on your new hustle, Jessica.
Thank you.
Marvin, hey Marvin Harris, please, if you ask a question, if you don't mind putting your city, and if you live in the middle of nowhere, put your state. Do you need to have a deposit toward a subject to deal or earnest money deposit, Jessica? I'll let the attorney answer that if you know.
Do you need to have? You should have some currency exchanged. It could be $10 is like this typical statutory minimum. But you have to have exchange of something, $1 to make it a binding contract. There has to be something exchanged. So yes.
Marvin, I want to say that if you're worried about the deposit, I would say do not do a subject to deal because we do $100 on every deal, but that should be the least of your worries, my brother.
Okay.
Would you say, Jessica?
No, I agree with you.
Yeah. Boston, Massachusetts. Hey. CC, did he have a land trust? Who are you referring to? I need you to break that down a little bit for me. TB Sweetie, if you're in New York, there's a subject to responsible for DEP. What is DEP, Jay?
I don't know what that DEP stands for.
And environmental.
Like Department of Environmental Conservation stuff. I don't know what he's talking about.
Are you responsible for the department and environmental? If you're the owner, I don't know. DP Sweetie, if you can verify or clarify that a little bit, would be nice. And I don't know if we'll get to all the questions. If you have a pertinent question, you can just do a super chat. I'll get to it right now. Is Jessica a mom 22 girl 804? Is Jessica recommending to get a business liability insurance in addition to insuring the property?
No, what I was referring to simply is the property itself. You want to have coverage for injury, damage, things like that. Most important is an umbrella policy gives you that liability protection above, not just if there's a fire and your property burns down, but if somebody gets hurt. So you want to make sure that you have really good coverage for liability purposes and then also your damage. But no, I'm not talking about professional like you as the landlord. No.
Well, yeah, what Jessica recommended for me to get an umbrella policy on top, yes, Mom 22, on top of my hazard insurance on that house.
Yes, right. So that umbrella is super cheap. It's like $200 for $1 million, and it can follow multiple properties. It could be tied to your car. So that even as whatever car you're in, as the property owner, you're protected as well. It's a great tool. I highly recommend talking to an agent, not just like online.
Yeah, I did. They're going to look at how much assets you got and how much you need.
Right.
Eric, what's up? I just obtained a list of homes and the counties there. Eric's up there with you. Good to know it's legal there. It's legal there, yes.
Yes.
Love her. He loves your view on subject twos. Our channel is changing.
Absolutely. Yeah, actually, Dutchess County is a hot place to invest right now.
Wow. He said the
There's
channel.
a lot of development going on.
Michael Foot wants to know what is the difference between a subject to and a wrap note. You want to hit that one, Jessica, or you want me to do that?
You do that. I've never heard the term wrap note. So what is that?
Okay. Subject to, Michael, is nothing but taking over the deed. You got me?
Yes.
Here's your note right here, right? Or note or your mortgage. Mortgage. Class, I just don't have enough time to explain everything. Jessica, it's so much to go over. But here's
Yeah.
your subject to. All we're doing is taking over the deed. Sometimes we do
Right.
them together simultaneously, right? Because if you buy a house subject to from a seller, they have no way to show that that debt is getting covered on their credit report, right? If they go out
Okay.
and
Yep.
buy a new house,
Yes. Right. Right.
what are gonna do? Can't I sold a subject to, I'm gone. So what we do is we do something called a wrap note. We're taking over this first mortgage, right? Number one. Say your first mortgage is $100,000. Well, we'll do what a wrap. If I could just paint a picture for you, class, this is going to be worth your price of your admission today. I paid a lot to learn this one. A wrap note is nothing but a Christmas. I want you to envision a Christmas present under your Christmas tree, or a birthday present for whatever. You got a present that's already wrapped, right? That's this first loan. This is the present here that you're going to be giving to your spouse or whoever. A wrap note. All we're doing is taking another piece of wrapping paper, wrapping it around that same note that we took subject to, and we created another note, a second note, same dollar amount. So if this is 100,000, we got a second wrap note on top of the first for $100,000. Hence, your seller can go to his next lender and say, listen, I have an instrument that pays me every month, right? That covers this debt.
Okay.
So Michael, on a wrap, all we're doing is wrapping the existing mortgage that's already in place. That's all.
My question to you is, though, are you personally liable for anything beyond that amount?
Who is borrowing? Who is the borrower on this note, Jessica? In my world, you already know the answer. Who's the borrower on this note?
It's going to be the subject to buyer, right?
Trust.
Okay.
Trust. What happens if the trust doesn't pay this note? Not on me, but the trust is the one that signed for this note.
The trustee.
Now, the trustee, yeah. But the seller could foreclose, but I don't want to get too deep in it.
Right.
But his question was, what is a wrap? That's all a wrap is.
Okay.
But
oh my God. My mind is just blown.
Oh yeah, let me do this. Yeah, your brain's going.
Yeah. Okay. Now I got a new topic to research this weekend. Okay, moving on. Next question.
I'm lucky. I can't even. What is the list of paperwork needed to complete a subject to? But yeah, that's gonna be. I'm lucky. We can't. I'm sorry, my brother or sister. I don't know. Email me and I'll give you all that stuff. How do you get the CC's Corner? How do you get the documents? You gotta email me and I'll give you the link, or I'll put the link to the documents in this video description.
Yeah.
My brother Eddie. Hey, Mr. Transaction. What's up? REI Necessities wants to know, can you do a lease option in New York?
Yes, you can.
That's something we need to talk about in the future too, Jay.
Mm-hmm. All of these things are just agreements. You can enter into any contractual agreement you want on consent between buyer and seller, or the tenant and the owner. So yeah, all these different options are legal.
I think that's the magic here, though, because most of the time, I think most people think, Jay, that the buyer is dealing with the realtor is dealing with the seller's realtor. They got to communicate. My thing is, dude, I'm in bed. As long as the buyer and the seller are like agreeing.
Yeah, that's right. Get rid of everybody else. Buyer and seller are agreeing. Totally legal.
I think that's where we're getting kind of caught up. Paul J. New York. Oh, New York in the house.
Woohoo!
Questions. All right, class. Questions, class. So I can get Jessica's only going to be with us for a few more minutes. Uh, shit. Wow. I'll stay online if you got to go, Jay. I mean, he's upstate New York. What's the best way to get in touch with you, Jessica?
Yeah, absolutely. So
JME.
my email, I know you can post it for me, JME Properties LLC at gmail.com, JME Properties LLC at gmail.com. And then I'll also give my phone number if they want. It's 845-493-1002. Email is probably the best way to get a hold of me. And happy to answer any questions. Anybody needs advice or help in the New York area.
Yes, I'm going to put Jessica's email and phone number in the description so we don't have to go back through the chat. Sorry about that.
Great. Thank you.
I'm in New York. Did an intern.
All right, everybody.
Queens. Huh?
No, I was going to say goodbye, but I'm listening to you.
I got like 20 more. You just tell me when you got to go, Jay.
Okay. What was that last thing? Queens? What was somebody from Queens saying? I love Queens.
They did an internship in Queens. Oh, they wanted to know your contact information. That's what we just did there.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. I'm about an hour north of Queens.
Okay. Yeah, you keep going up north. Can you explain blanket insurance? Is it more about having a master policy? I don't know a blanket. That's Paris Wilson.
Yeah.
Paris. I don't know. I don't know that one.
Yeah. I mean, some companies do what's called a master policy for different properties, but I'm not actually up on the terminology for insurance stuff.
Eric wants to know, can you close deals in New York?
Yes.
Beezer wants to know, okay. REI necessities, do you propose the term subject to when you make the offer to the seller? I think that's for me, probably.
Yeah, that's probably for you. I mean, it's really all about how to phrase it. I would think no.
Never.
It's more like, how can I help you get out of this house, right?
REI necessities, email me. I'll email you. I'll give you a free copy of my subject to negotiating audio. I'll give you one free copy of that. Please don't go to somebody's house and talk about subject to. Paris, how about the insurance amounts? What is the average price range on insurance? I think we already covered that one.
Yeah. It's going to be too specific to the type of property, the value, the neighborhood. Yeah, it's very subjective to your house.
Billy's getting ready to go bananas. My housekeeper just pulled up, so I'm just warning everybody.
Yeah. All right. So listen, I'm going to cut out. Feel free to email me questions, or if you have questions that come up after I check out, we can go back to them next Friday. Have an awesome weekend, everybody. Take care.
Okay. Bye. I'll stay on class with some. I'll finish the Q&A. I'm sorry, I can only get so much with Jessica here. I'll do my best. I'm not an attorney, no doubt, but I've seen a lot of come and go. Billy's going to have a fit in about 30 seconds. Matter of fact, let me open the door. I'll be right back. I got to let the housekeeper in. I'll be right back. Billy is no doubt going to have a fit. Thank you. Okay, Billy. Camilo, does your paperwork attorney have to be in the same state? No. Yes, your paperwork doesn't, but your attorney should be in the same state you're closing the deal, Camilo. Hey, come on, guys. TB Sweetie, in subject to, do you need a title search? Yes, you better. You better get a title search so you know what the hell you're buying. If you don't do the title search, you don't know the terms of the loan that you're getting into. TB Sweetie. Williams, when you're losing the land trust with the subject to, does the LLC purchase the insurance policy of the trustee? That would be a good question for Jessica. For me, I have my LLC on the insurance because my LLC is the beneficiary for the trust. All right, the house burns down, you can just show them the trust. Mitch Cat Rich. My understanding, the best strategy to avoid the due on sale clause is the mortgagee needs to keep their insurance in place. Yes, there is no needs to. You either keep the insurance in place, Mitch, or they will do forced insurance. There has to be an insurance policy in place with the original borrower's name. Period. You ain't gonna get around that. We have a whole bunch of ways to go about that. Sometimes you have to get an additional policy. Sometimes you add them on as a lost payee. So many ways, but it all depends. Mitch, is the purchaser also putting a new insurance on the policy in place of the property? I have done that. If I got I have a house with a whole bunch of meat on the bone, I wanted a policy that if the house burns down, come on, guys. If the house burns down, I'm gonna file that policy and keep the one in the seller's name. I'll just keep paying it. All right. Mom 22 girl, a good question. How do you get a copy of the mortgage interest tax form? Did the seller send it to you? No, the seller's out of the question. So no doubt you send over a document. So you have the power of attorney. You can change the mailing address for the mortgage statements if you need to, because you have the power of attorney on file. And they send they send the tax form to the same place that they send the mortgage statements. Now, if you don't get the mortgage statements, which you don't need to, you can always call in and use your power of attorney and just give them to fax it over. Boy, I've done that too. Just call them up. They'll give it to you. You get your power of attorney on file, or give them a power of attorney. Brandon, if we use a land trust to wholesale a property, do we have to file a land trust paperwork at the courthouse? No. Brandon, you better not be filing any paperwork at the courthouse other than the deed. Nothing else to be used at the courthouse. You don't want to let the world know who the beneficiaries are. That's the only reason that you're using a land trust. Hampton, Georgia. I didn't know there was a Ada. I didn't know there was a Hampton in Georgia. I'm almost done, y'all. Paris, you'll send me the YouTube link to your new attorney. She's done them. There you go. Realist. Why would a land trust be necessary for a wholesale deal? I'm telling you why, brother. Why we always use land trust. I can't get this through your head. You get a property in a contract, right? You want to try to wholesale it. What happens if you got a savvy seller, right? Somebody like me, the savvy, they say, you know what? You couldn't wholesale it, but I still want you to. Missy, come on. 1 second. Go. Say for instance, if you're a wholesaler, my dogs are going crazy. If you're a wholesaler, right? You got 123 Main Street contract. You can't wholesale it. Your seller wants you to close on it, and you don't. What if they want to sue you as the buyer? That's why we always put our contracts in a land contract, so they can just let them sue the land contract. Let them sue the trust, right? Because you're not on the contract as the buyer, the trust is. That's why you always. I can't preach this anymore. I still get questions. People want to know. I'm just wholesaling it. Why do I need to have it in the trust? If you get sued, if you can't wholesale it and you get sued, they're coming right after you. I have seen it. They're coming right after you. They're coming. They will come. Jessica can help. Yes, she can help you with a lease option, brother. You got her email there. Paris, CC64 Paris, he is in Maryland, about the Baltimore area. I'm lucky. How can you sell a subject to property years after? I'm thinking of selling years after as an exit strategy. You can do that. I mean, it's no problem. I don't know. All you doing is transferring the title and the deed. I mean, transferring the title, keeping the loan in your name or the seller's name. It's irrelevant. Kevin, yes, Jessica does closings in New York. I think we covered that. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button, class. Robel, I think, does Jessica buy sell on wraps? I think we just went over a wrap. She wasn't really privy to that information. I'm presuming that she does not. But after today, Jessica's gonna be a beast. Because in my opinion, I told Jessica, I'm like the loose cannon, like trying all this stuff, just tipping, looking over the side of the ship, jumping in the water. Jessica's the one back here, like, Chris, I don't know. We need to maybe think about this. I think it's a great relationship that we have. Get it, yes, CC, get an umbrella policy. Tunstall going to remind me that I'm about your email. That's right. I plan on answering all emails tonight. If you send an email, I will get it out to you tonight because I had a deadline. I had to get my newsletter out. We've been working on the newsletter all week, getting my articles in from my Airbnb editor and Jessica. She's an editor for our newsletter. And if anybody wants to people, if you're watching, you're getting that, you're in the inner circle. If you want to know more about that, then send me an email. Chris, you're doing a rap deal? Chris, you're a beast. We're in Q&A class. If you're just joining in, I had my attorney on here earlier, Jessica Segal, doing some great stuff regarding, she's in New York, not closing deals in Virginia, but her point of view and her attitude, her sensibility really helps our industry. Informed, could you start off with a subject to an exit with the lease option? Oh my goodness, Informed, you read my mind. That is exactly how we do it. We buy subject to, we sell lease option. You got it, dog. Minimum wage millionaire. You're in here. Okay, yeah, I got you, brother. We're gonna get it with you on Tuesday. I'll put the link in my video descriptions for anybody that wants to download my subject to doc packet. Lillian info. Do you have to have the contract notarized? No, you do not. But I would recommend you to put your deal insurance in place and get that notarized. You better have something when you get a sweet deal. I was literally doing that with one of my clients this week. Got a smoking deal. Ran down to the courthouse and recorded that deal insurance because you don't want your sellers backing out. I remember many, many years ago doing deals, and all of a sudden, bam, sellers started backing out on me, not showing up to closings, right? You don't want that. I'm in a contract ready and waiting to close, didn't realize that it's also in bankruptcy proceedings. Well, you ain't closing nothing. Can't do nothing about that until the seller gets out of that. Troy, I'm put a link to this video. Troy, as soon as I get done, I'm going to go back here and put a link to my subject to documents in this video. Camilo, do I have to use an attorney, an in-state? I would, an in-state attorney, yes. Chris, someone will mess around and call right now. That is true. They'll call right now. Wayne, if you don't get your deal insurance, you're in trouble. Please, can you explain the wrap note again? I'll come back to that so I can get some other questions answered and get some people out of here if they got to go. Jesse Stanley, rap note. I'll do it real quick. Gatiro family, rap note. Here's your notes, right? Here's your first mortgage, is the first on a $100,000 house, right? There's nothing. Think about it as a birthday or Christmas present. It's already been wrapped. This is your wrap. Your note is your present. All we're doing is taking another piece of wrapping paper, putting it on top of that note, creating a second note, which is going to be your wrap note. So it's literally wrapping the existing note. That's all it is. Very simple. You got 11. Jesse, you got 11 properties in Newport News, Hampton. Yeah, I'm in, dog. I mean, send me an email. Best way to get. I'm not on Facebook every day. Chris buys houses is the best way to get. I'll put my email in the video description here also. CC, none of this stuff is free that I'm giving out. I do have a small fee. I need you to invest in yourself. All this stuff I do is for free. I can't do but so much for free. My wife is already on me for doing this for free. Faith, you appreciate me. Thank God. I appreciate you too. How much does Jessica charge to do the trust and LLC? I'm not sure, but she has a fee if she does that. New York is a whole nother beast. You are correct. Cheryl, when will I have a 3 or 5 day class? Cheryl, I'm working on that right now with Eddie, actually. I'm going to get Jessica, Joe Alt, and my boy, Mr. Transaction, all on one thing. We're going to do 3 days or maybe 4 days. It's going to be amazing. I cannot wait. I've been talking to them, putting it together. These people are the real deal. Joe Alt from the Millionaire Real Estate Investor book. Jessica, real estate attorney. Mr. Transaction engineer down in Atlanta doing pretty house lease options. And your boy, hopefully we'll have a 4 day. I'm going to be talking about raising money. That's my specialty. David, is tenant buyer required to purchase mortgage insurance? Mortgage insurance? What the heck, Planet? David, you know I love you. Mortgage insurance. You talking about mortgage insurance if they don't pay the mortgage? You got a PP? Let's go PP. Go hit it, listen. Go hit it. Good girl. Sorry, class. Yeah, these dogs. I'm just a dog sitter. That's all I do is watch dogs. Mortgage insurance. You talking about hazard insurance? No. Tenant buyer. You keep that on there because you're selling it on. You're the owner. But yes, on subject to, you have to get hazard insurance, not mortgage insurance. Mortgage insurance is when you don't pay the mortgage and they pay the lender off. Realist bought a house for half its value. How soon can we borrow on that other half and sell it as I'm not sure about that one. I haven't borrowed money from a bank in over 10 years, man. I don't know. We use private money. REI necessities, okay. Realist, is it okay to sell via lease option while we own it? You got a PP too? How long is it okay? Yes, I do. That's exactly how I do. We sell lease options. How long is leasing these days, especially for FHA? I lease option as long as I can. I just ask the people, how long do you want? How long do you need? They say 5 years. All right, 5 years. Because 9 times out of 10, they'll be gone in 2 or 3 years. You'll have to resell it and get another down payment. When they stop paying, class, you're saying, well, what happens if they stop paying? You keep their option fee, you resell it again, you get another big old option fee, and you go to the bank. Minimum wage millionaire. I love that name. Ready to kick booty in real estate. Yes. Camilo, any special paperwork for me to speak with the seller's bank? Yes, you're daggone right. You cannot just go into the bank and be like, I want to talk to you about Kris Haskins' loan, please. They're going to look at you like you're crazy, Camilo. However, if you've got the right documents, you say, I want to talk to you, player. And you have these documents and they have to interface with you. If you've got the right documents, those documents are included in the subject to my subject to doc packet. I'll get it's included. TB Sweetie. Environmental. It's only in New York. Yeah, I don't know. Realist, yeah. Memorandum of notice, memorandum of contract, or affidavit of understanding. That's what we sell. This is good stuff. You want to come in, Missy? I'll be right back and let the other dog in. Sorry, class. So, PP. Good Lord God, help me, Lord. I get to go be a real estate guru, have a real estate empire, and then my life is boiled down to watching dogs. Life is funny how it comes back around, isn't it? It's weird, man. Okay, make all the money and then you gotta watch the dogs. Ada. Oh, dog breeding. Yeah, I don't know. You're welcome. Tunstall, when I do a lease option with a contractor, how do you pay out the contractor at the end? Good question. So the other day we were talking about investor lease options. Investor lease options, not owner occupant lease options. I love investor lease options. So you do a lease option with the investor, they go do their thing, fix it up, do whatever, list it on the MLS, they get the contract, we sign the contract with the buyer, we go to closing, we pay out the investor on the HUD. All right. So that investor gets paid on the HUD one. Or what do they call it? A disclosure statement now? I don't even know. TB came in late. What is the main advantage of using a trust versus LLC? Trust is anonymity. LLC is asset protection. You're trying to get negotiations videos for free. I can't help you with that, CC. Sorry about that. I'm working, Mr. Transaction. I'm working, dog. Come on. REI necessities. Do I have to close with an attorney in Georgia to assign a lease option? You don't have to, but you probably should. I mean, if somebody's bringing in $10,000, you want to make sure that they understand what's going on. Paris, my new attorney would like to see if you have an actual subject to closing docs. She wants to make sure she's on point. subject to closing docs. You got everything I got, bro. I give you my whole subject to. Only thing you don't have is the insurance document, which the attorney's not going to care about that. And the other document you might not have is a HUD. I can give you a copy of one of my HUDs. That way you could walk in and say, okay, Miss Attorney, I know you understand this, but look, it's right here on the HUD, So you gotta, Paris, I can send you a copy of that. I'm glad you're out there grinding, dog. Go out there. You're doing it. Yes, Sarah. Three ways. You get paid when you buy it. Well, not on the subject to. You won't get paid when you buy it. You sell it on a lease option. You get the down payment, monthly payment, and you get the money when the house sells. Yes, Sarah. That's exactly how you do it. CC, yeah, you got to invest in yourself. And I'm going to be brutally honest with you and tell you that I'm not going to invest with you. I'm going to tell you the truth. Because 9 times out of 10, I don't know your family, who you're around. They won't tell you the truth. They're going to try to make you feel good and all that stuff. I'm going to tell you the truth. It doesn't matter to me whether you succeed or not. It only should matter to you. I want to see you succeed. I can't make you invest in yourself. I can't tell you how much money I've invested in my education on this real estate thing. So, it's weird, CC. Even your friends and family, they may say they want to see you succeed. Well, deep down inside, everybody, misery loves company. So I don't know who you hang around, but you got to invest in yourself or nobody will. Think me, the guy you see right here, I've been digging since 2004. I'm just coming out. You see this person, this is years and years of research. The guy you're looking at, I'm doing deals. I'm just starting to talk about this stuff. Mr. James, okay, you got a private lender. Good for you. Mr. Transaction, yeah, please hit the thumbs up for my optimization. What paperwork is the seller going to want from you as the buyer on a sub to? The seller all they want when they're selling Camilo, they want their money. Can I get my money, player? That's all they want. Paperwork is irrelevant. If you're dealing with a seller that wants paperwork, you're dealing with the wrong seller. And I'm brutally and frankly honest with them. I say, listen, Mr. Seller, if this is going to keep you up at night, this isn't for you. I tell them that this isn't for you because it really isn't. If you're going to be calling me every month, did you pay the mortgage? When you're going to sell the house? I don't have time for it. So if this is going to keep you up at night, keep you thinking about this crap, this ain't for you. But if you're willing for me to give you some money because you're not going to get anything unless you deal with me or somebody like me, it's going to take over the payments and give you some money because you have no equity, then we might be able to do some business. We usually give people, if it's a nice house, we'll give you a few $1,000s. But if you don't deal with me, you get nothing and you get a foreclosure on your record. So don't worry about, Camilo, don't worry about documents don't worry about what your seller's going to think about the documents. You just get them all prepared. You want the mortgage property back, pull my money back out on a lease option at once. I think that's called a sandwich. Sandwich lease, you don't even own the property, realist. Sandwich lease is when you just lease option it from the buyer and then you sell it on a lease option. You are the meat in the middle holding the buyer and the seller together. All right. You want to pull your money back? Yeah, you can't do that. Yeah, you're in trouble. If you buy it on a lease option, your money's gone. Is the negotiation CDs still $97? They are not, but I will honor that discount for today also. How about that, CC? Good gracious, you're stretching me. You're stretching me, dog. You're stretching me. I will honor that. I'll go back in and lower the price until tonight. I want to see you succeed. I do. I genuinely and honestly do this. All this shit's for free. I do all this for free. I want to see you succeed. I'm tired of meeting broke people. I don't want to meet any more broke people. I'll put the link of that in here too. I'll put my docs, the negotiation CDs discount in this video description. All right, Nelson, potentially how long? Everything good? Is Billy? One second, I gotta check on the dog. They had a bitch. Okay, where were we? Potentially, how long can you be in and out of a subject to deal? I mean, shit, you can sell it. I've sold them the same day, Nelson. I go in there to close it, got my buyer lined up, sold it to the new buyer, that's over. I mean, it's up to you. Don't forget, you're passing on the house and Nelson, the magic. You're passing on the financing, dog. So you get to sell the house and you get to say, look, Mr. Buyer, I'm offering you financing because you got the financing from the seller, right? So you just pass it on. It is maximum value class when you get to sell a house and you get to bring financing with it. Whew, I get hot thinking about that one. Yes, yes. Or Nelson, you can keep it forever. I mean, it's up to you. Mr. Transaction, what up? What up? What up? Thank you. Yeah, please hit us a thumbs up. Realist, there's nothing worse than family. I don't know about that. I like family sometimes. CC, you're looking on Zillow for pre-foreclosures. I'm sure they're there. Tammy, since do most mortgages have a due on sale clause? They all do. That prohibits the seller from selling the home without paying off the mortgage. How can I identify that? They all have them. You don't have to worry about identifying it at all, my friend Tammy. They all have due on sale clauses. You just got to worry about if they're going to call it, which they probably won't. Cheryl, ready to go. Yes. Camilo is trying to refine my conversation with the sellers. Well, you need my audio negotiating. I promise you. I created that audio so you don't have to worry about anything. You put it in, you become instant master negotiator. Instant master negotiator. Ada, knowledge is power. I'm all in. Yes, thank you. Thank you. You are welcome. You are welcome. You are welcome. I'm trying to learn how to say you're welcome more because I'm always the one giving, right? I'm always giving. I have to say you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you too for being here because I would be nothing without you guys. Knowledge is power. No mo broke. Yeah, maybe that'd be that's a good hashtag. No mo broke 2019. You want to get that money back? I don't know, realist. I don't know too much about bank lending, brother. It's not my thing. Robel, do do you need more of a down payment for properties you sell on owner finance versus lease option? If I'm going to sell owner finance, Robel, let's think about this. I'm giving up the deed, right? Means I lose my tax deduction. I'm not the owner. And I have to worry about creditors and predators coming after my new buyer, right? So that's a hassle. So I want a much bigger down payment if I'm doing owner finances versus a lease option. Much bigger. I'm sure Mr. Transaction would agree. Matter of fact, Mr. Transaction, you still there? Let me bring you in, man. I'd like to talk to you real quick. Can I explain sandwich, lease option, elevator pitch real quick? Well, lease purchase is the good thing about, well, you don't have to worry about the sell side, James, Mr. James, right? All you need to worry about is the buy side because your seller has nothing to do with your buyer on a sandwich lease purchase. The elevator pitch is, listen, I'm ready to buy your house, lease purchase. We'll lease purchase your house. I will be responsible for all repairs until we pay you off. We have to determine the time frame that you want us to pay you off. Typically, we get 30 years. How many will you give me? Shut up, be quiet. We usually buy nothing down. How much do you need? So start with that. REI necessities. If the MLS comps are 225, would an investor buy a lease option for 85K? Shit, I want that one. With 60 to 70K in repairs and with a 10K down payment. Yeah, I think an investor would do that. See, REI necessities, every investor is different. I'm not putting up 80,000 unless I'm on title. So on something like this, I would want the deed to be in a trust so we can all share the ownership. Or yeah, I would want or if they sold it to me, I would let them create a note for the 85,000. I'm sorry, yeah, for the 85. REI necessities, if I'm putting up 70,000, I would let the seller owner finance it to me and give them a note. That way when it sells, we just pay them off. You don't want people to push too much. Like I've done them where my investors have put up 30, like 30, 32. But when somebody's putting up 70, 80,000, you want them to feel comfortable. Cheryl Holloman, is it necessary or beneficial to obtain a realtor license, not a realtor license? Oh God. Oh goodness. I start to get weak when I hear that realtor. It makes me think. It just takes me to another place. I don't want to do no more realtors, right? It's not a realtor. Yes. Do you need a realtor? No, you don't. But I'm not saying it's not good to have. I don't have one. My mentors don't have one. So thank you for doing your thing. God bless you. Thank you. You are welcome. I was going to send some more super chats, but your car's empty. Oh man, I'm going broke doing this stuff. Thanks for the thought, realist. Abdullah, thank you for doing this thing. I'm glad your health is better. Yes, I got a little cold last week and my stomach was hurting the other day. Yeah, I got sick, guys. Yeah, but hopefully I'll be better by Monday. Williams, how are these notes created? Well, your boy has all the documents because I've been creating notes since 2007. So if you need it, just let me know. I mean, I do have a small fee since you're in a circle. I'll give you a discount for this stuff. Williams, you need these notes, but I don't know where you're at. But you need to not need. I suggest. Well, yeah, you do. You need to have promissory note and a deed of trust. You gotta have this stuff. Kevin, what's up, Kevin? How do I lease option as a real estate agent? How do commissions get paid? Man, that's a good question. So if you're the agent, Kevin, are you buying or selling on a lease option? Buying or selling on a lease option? If you're an agent and you're buying on a lease option, I don't think it matters. But when you sell it, you know what? I don't know, man. I don't know. But you should be able to do any of this stuff without even having to pay an agent. Kevin, I'm sorry about that. I don't know about that. Sorry. I wish I could. I don't have too much knowledge when it comes to doing business. Oh, Kevin, you're in the middle. Okay. You're doing a sandwich lease option. So you're buying lease option, selling lease option. You're the meat in the middle. And you're a real estate agent. No doubt you're going to list the property. I don't think you have to worry about a commission, Kevin, because you're getting the money. I wouldn't worry about the commission. Just get your money on the profit side. I wouldn't even consider the agent fee. I mean, it's irrelevant. Robel, how do I mitigate my capital gains tax liability? Oh, Lord. Do I do 1031s? Good question. How do I mitigate, class? Mitigate. It's a good word. I can tell you professional. We use something called a self-direct. All right, y'all get ready for this one. Good gracious. We use something called, I do self-directed investing, self-directed Roth IRA. All right, I talked about this dozens of times. I have a self-directed Roth IRA for me. I have one with my wife. I've got two with my children, right? So my girls are loaning money out to investors. You got the loans coming in, no taxes there. My wife's and my IRA own rental property. The IRA owns the house, so the rents go into there, right? Tax free. Now we do have to have the repairs get paid for too. So that's another way we mitigate our tax liability. So we have a lot of that. Like right now, at this stage in my life, I know everybody's different stages. My IRA is doing a lot of the heavy lifting. Like the property we just did, if you go back a couple of videos, we negotiated a $210,000 offer. A lot of that money came out of my IRA to buy. So when we sell it, the profits and any of the IRA money will go back into IRA, and that's tax free. So that's one of the ways. And other ways is I try to write as much off as I can, but you can't write off if you're selling making a 50,000 pop. It's hard to write it off, especially if you're selling it in under a year. My brother Robel, Marcus, Coach K, I like that name. I'm lucky. Once a seller fills out all the paperwork, what paperwork are we talking about? What's the next step, and how do I obtain the deed in my trust, and what kind of deed are we going after? I'm lucky. I'm presuming you're talking about a subject to deal. Only thing you need to worry about is the contract. All that other stuff gets signed at closing. Just get the contract. The closing, or the attorney will draft the deed, putting the property, deeding it into your into your trust. All right, that's when you get the deed. The deed you need to have. I gotta stop saying need to, but you got to have a general warranty deed. Don't be doing no quit claim. It's not a quit claim. Quit claim deed. Don't be doing a special warranty deed, a gift deed. Don't do none of that unless you know what you're doing. Gift deed. I'm sorry. General warranty deed only. Warranty deed. Marcus, Wendy. Yeah, she's very known. Okay, Wendy does subject to. Okay, nice. She's playing how to pay realtors through subject to. Yeah, I don't know that one. These are some good questions too. Which IRA company do I use? Well, we have an IRA custodian. The custodian I use and my family uses is Equity Trust Company. We use Equity Trust Company. So I'm not saying that I recommend them. They're no bad, they're no better or worse than the other ones that I know of. But the only reason I use them is because I've been using them since 2006. So I'm just too lazy to transfer all my assets over, all the notes we got out and property that we own. We'd have to transfer all that stuff. I just don't want to do it. So I use Equity Trust. Before I leave, let me put up the links for this negotiating audio for my friend there. I'll put up the real estate, the 11 audio series for the negotiating audio. And I also put up the subject to links here for your docs. You gotta have subject to documents in order to do a subject to deal. Any more questions? Then we're gone. Then you're negotiating 11 audio series link below. I'll put that link in there for you. We'll get back to a few more quick questions and we're done. Copy that. A few seconds, class. I'll finish with your questions. This is such good stuff. Subject to document packet. I'll do the subject to document packets below also. You gotta have this stuff. I mean, invest in yourself. It's just, and I'm not even, I'm cheap. Subject to, here we go. You got to have these documents. Without these tools, these are the tools that we use, class, to close these deals. And without this stuff, it's almost like you don't even exist. I remember when I was in the music business, unless you had your CD when you showed up on scene, like we would go to different record labels. Unless you showed up with a CD or your music, you don't even exist to the music business and show them. Like if you have products, like where's your product at? We would show up in meetings. These are meetings in tall buildings, big RCA, big record labels. They want to know, where's your product? Who are you? What you got? You better have that CD. Just like when you're a real estate investor, you better have the tools to close these deals, or you ain't closing nothing. I promise that. Is my land trust price still the same? Yes, I'm not doing a discount on that one today, class. I'm sorry. The land trust it is what it is. That cost me too much. I've hired attorneys over the years to put all this stuff together for you, so you don't have to. Basically, it took me since 2004 to now to put all this stuff together for you. I've been working for you. Your boy's been working for you. Robel, another brother building generational wealth in America. Yes, we're trying, my brother. We're trying. Is my land? Yes. CC, yes. I'm going to use the paperwork. You can, yeah. I'll put it right in the link there. I'll email it right to you. Who is that promoting somebody else on my channel? Wendy Patton. Okay. I don't know who that. I've heard her name before. Abdullah, anything within a year will receive a high tax retreat for capital gains. That is true. Long-term investment is considered a year longer. That's right. So class, I wouldn't worry about taxes. Shit, you got to put it aside and pay it. That's all it is. Or get audited and then they'll take it, So that's it. We made it. We made it to another session Friday. I wish Jessica could have been here with me. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm going to leave you with some last final thoughts that I've been thinking. Every day before I go to bed, I'm working on doing a final thoughts for the day. I'm going to be talking tonight with a friend of mine. He's a record producer. We're talking about how the industry has changed over time. Hopefully you can join us tonight. My final thoughts for you today, class, to get you out of here. Don't forget to smash the thumbs up. Comment, please give me whatever comments you think that I possibly that could cover for you. But I wanted to share something with you that I was thinking about as I was working out in the gym this morning. So many notes. So many notes. Two things. If money wasn't an issue, how would you spend your days? How would you spend your days? What would you do? What would you do? Who would you help? Who would you help? Who are you helping? Who are you helping? I meet a lot of people, obviously, around the country that aren't getting the success that they may want, and you may be getting the success that you want. Promise you're probably helping a lot of people. Who are you helping? Who are you helping? At the end of the day, if you're not helping people, it's going to be very hard for you to have a large income, in my opinion, what I've seen. The moment I started to open up my gate and start helping more and more and more and more and more people, I started to be blessed more. So I just challenge you and I urge you, I implore you to see how many people you can help. Find some problems. Here's a problem going. You intersected problem and skill create opportunity. You have the skill. The specialized skill that we offer is I show you how to buy a house without using a bank. It's one of my superpowers that I've learned over the years. And the key, I think that I'm blessed to be able to do is I make it believable. I don't have a suit and tie on talking about lawyer stuff. Obviously I love Jessica, but the way she processes information might be a little hard to digest from time to time. So I'm able to boil it down for you. All right, class. I'll see you tonight, and on Monday we got my friend. I did an investor lease option with my friend Lori. She's a real estate mom investor. Got kids, still doing a business, doing some amazing things. So I'll show you how we did an ugly investor lease option with no money out of my pocket. Okay, class. I'll see you next time. Peace. I love you. Peace. I love you.